Welcome back to the lecture series on computer networks. I am Jasir MP, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Applications, MES College, Marampalli. Today, we are continuing our discussion on analog and digital signals. In the previous lecture, we have discussed analog signals and how analog signals are used to represent information. Information can also be represented by a digital signal. For example, a 1 can be encoded as a positive voltage and a 0 as a zero voltage. A digital signal can also have more than 2 levels. In this case, we can send more than 1 bit for each level. Topics discussed in this section are bit rate, bit length, digital signal as a composite analog signal, baseband and bandpass transmission, and transmission impairments. Now, let's have a look at the figure. It shows 2 digital signals, one with 2 signal levels and the other with 4 signal levels. In the first case, a positive voltage is used to represent 1 and a 0 voltage is used to represent 0. The channel is assumed to send 8 bits in 1 second, which means the bit rate is 8 bits per second. The second one, figure B, shows a digital signal with 4 signal levels. Level 1 is representing 0, 0 and level 4 is representing 1, 1. The channel is assumed to send 16 bits in 1 second, which makes the bit rate of this channel as 16 bits. Now, imagine a digital signal has 8 levels. How many bits are needed per level? We can calculate the number of bits by using the formula number of bits per level is equal to log 2 of total number of levels, which is in this case is 8. So the answer becomes 3. Each signal level is represented by 3 bits. The bit rate is the transmission of number of bits per second and we have baud rate, which is defined as the number of signal units per second. Let's consider another example. We need to download text documents at a rate of 100 pages per second. What is the required bit rate of the channel? Consider each page is an average of 24 lines with 80 characters in each line. If we assume that one character requires 8 bits, then the bit rate is 100 into 24 into 80 into 8, which is equal to 1.636 megabits per second. Another example, consider a digitized voice channel, which is made by digitizing a 4 kHz bandwidth analog voice signal. We need to sample the signal at twice the highest frequency, which means 2 samples per hertz, and each sample requires 8 bits. What is the required bit rate? The bit rate can be easily calculated as 2 into 4000 into 8, which is equal to 64,000 bits per second, which means 64 kilobits per second. Now, the figure shows the time and frequency domains of periodic and non-periodic digital signals. Figure A shows a periodic digital signal, and the frequency domain indicates that a periodic digital signal can be represented using a finite number of component signals, whereas a non-periodic digital signal in the frequency domain consists of infinite number of component frequencies. Baseband and bandpass transmission. Baseband transmission sends the information signal as it is without any modulation. That means without shifting the frequency, without using any carrier frequency to shift the frequency, while passband transmission shifts the signal to be transmitted in frequency to a higher frequency and then transmit the signal, where at the receiver end the signal is shifted back to its original frequency. In baseband transmission, we simply have a transmission medium and we directly send the digital signal to the destination. A digital signal is a composite analog signal with an infinite bandwidth, as we have discussed, which means we need very high bandwidth low pass channels in order to carry out baseband transmission. Figure A shows a low pass channel with a wide bandwidth and figure B shows a low pass channel with a narrow bandwidth. The figure shows the original input signal, which is created in the input signal bandwidth, which is having components of 0 to infinity, and the wide bandwidth channel has to fit this digital signal into the bandwidth of the medium, which is f1 and f2. Therefore, at the destination we will have an approximation of the original input signal as shown in the third part of the figure. Baseband transition of a digital signal preserves the shape of the digital signal, but we need to have an infinite or very wide bandwidth for that. Now let's have a look at the rough approximation of a digital signal using the first harmonic for the worst case. You can see the bit rate is n and 000 is represented as an analog frequency of 0 with a phase shift of 180 degree. 001 is represented as an analog frequency of n by 4 with a phase shift of 180. Similarly, 010 is represented as a frequency of n by 2 with a phase shift of 180, and all the 8 levels are represented in this manner. And figure shows simulating a digital signal with first 3 harmonics, that is n by 2, 3n by 2 and 5n by 2. When we are only using n by 2, we get a worst approximation of the digital signal as shown in the figure, and we get better approximations when we incorporate the frequencies 3n by 2 and 5n by 2. In baseband transmission, the required bandwidth is proportional to the bit rate, which means if we need to send bits faster, we need more bandwidth. The table shows the bandwidth requirements. If the bit rate is 1 kilobits per second and we are only using harmonic 1, then the bandwidth will be 500 Hertz. And if the bit rate is 1 kilobit per second and we use the harmonics 1 and 3, then the required bit rate would be 1.5 kilohertz. And if we are using harmonics 1, 3 and 5, the bit rate would be 2.5 kilohertz. If the available channel is a bandpass channel, we cannot send the digital signal directly to the channel. You know that a digital signal to be sent directly, we need infinite or very high bandwidth, which is not possible with a bandpass channel. Bandpass channel will always have a restriction to the bandwidth. So we need to convert the digital signal to an analog signal before transmission. So at the center, the input digital signal is converted using an analog converter, and the analog signal will be transmitted through the bandpass channel, which is received at the destination, and it is converted using an analog to digital converter into the digital format again. The internet connection using telephone lines and modem are a classic example of this type of communication. Transmission impairment. We know that the signals travel through transmission media, which are not perfect. This imperfection causes signal impairment. This means the signal at the beginning of the medium is not the same as the signal at the end of the medium. What is sent is not what is received. There are 3 causes of impairment as attenuation, distortion, and noise. We discuss attenuation, distortion, and noise in this topic. The three main causes of impairment are attenuation, distortion, and noise. Attenuation. Attenuation means loss of energy. The strength of signal decreases with increasing distance which causes loss of energy in overcoming the resistance of the medium. So we need to insert amplifiers at required points in order to maintain the energy level of the signal intact. And the noise, the strength of the signal is measured in decibels. Distortion. Distortion means the change in the shape of the signal. This is generally seen in composite signals with different frequencies. Each frequency component has its own propagation speed traveling through a medium. Every component arrive at different time, which leads to delay distortion. Therefore, they have different phases at receiver end from what they had at sender's end. Figure shows the phase shift and the results at the receiver when you are trying to recreate the composite signal from components which are received out of phase. Noise is nothing but the random or unwanted signal that mix up with the original signal. There could be many types of noise interfering with our transmission, like induced noise, which comes from sources such as motors and appliances. These devices can act as sending antenna and transmission medium act as the receiving antenna. Thermal noise is another type of noise which is caused by the movement of electrons in wire, which creates an extra signal. Crosstalk noise is when one wire affects the other wire, and occasionally there could also be impulse noises which comes as a result of lightning or contact with power lines. So these sort of impairments can cause your data transmission adversely, so we should have adequate steps to prevent that. One important issue in networking is the performance of the network. In this section, we introduce terms that we need for future chapters: bandwidth, throughput, delay, and bandwidth delay product. In networking, we use the term bandwidth in two contexts. The first, bandwidth in hertz, refers to the range of frequencies in a composite signal or the range of frequencies that a channel can pass. The second, bandwidth in bits per second, refers to the speed of bit transmission in a channel or link. Now, imagine the bandwidth is 1 bit per second, which means 1 bit can be sent in a second, and the delay in the transmission medium is 5 seconds, which means the bandwidth delay product is 5 bits. The figure clearly shows that after 1 second, 1 bit is in the medium, and the medium has a delay of 5 seconds, which means after the 5th bit, 5 bits can occupy the medium. So the bandwidth delay is 5, and another example shows the bandwidth is 5 bits per second and the delay is 5 seconds, which means at each second 5 bits can be occupying the medium, and after 5 seconds a total of 25 bits can occupy the medium. The bandwidth delay product defines the number of bits that can fill the link. Today we continued our discussion on analog and digital signals. We discussed digital signals in detail and the transmission impairments that can be caused while transmitting data between stations. Also, we discussed the concepts of bandwidth delay product, and also we discussed the concept of bandwidth delay product. Thank you.